So I called it last night. Yeah. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever happens to be while you're watching. Yesterday I did a video. I did a quick little announcement of Ruth Ginsburg passing. Didn't really go too much into it, but after I did my video, I was talking with the wife about it. She was unaware. So I told her what happened, and I told her this is going to be a fight. I said in my video, and I've said it a couple posts, that this is the left's second worst nightmare coming true. Their first one, of course, being Trump reelected. So the second worst is Ginsburg passing. They know that if she passes, Trump's got a stable of people that he's ready to push forward, and lo and behold, she passes. So I said this is going to be a double-edged sword. And by the way, the left has lost their mind. I'll show you that in a minute. But lo and behold, here we go. We're in a fight. I told her also that this is a double-edged sword for Trump, because if he tries to push somebody through prior to the election, the media is going to railroad him. They're going to pull him through the ringer, if you will. It's going to be the worst thing ever. The earth, the earth's going to crumble and fall apart into a million pieces, and we're all going to die. The left's going to come out with, we should wait till after the election, blah, blah, blah. And then if Trump doesn't push for a nomination prior to the upcoming election, that the left's going to use this as a get out the vote calling cry. So they're going to push everybody that they can to get out and get out and vote, because Trump's going to get away with abortion. He's going to do away with women's health rights and all the other shit the Me Too lies, the Me Too movement has used, etc. And sure enough, it played out within hours. It was playing out. The funny thing is, my wife's Facebook friends, a lot of them are liberal, and I mean, as soon as I told her about it, she went and looked, and here it came. So anyway, so as far as the left losing their minds go, I'll just show you a quick little one example. But I'm not on Twitter myself, so I can't show you screenshots from the Twitter feeds, but I've seen a bunch of them that people are posting. So I'm just going to give you one quick example. So here it is, a blue check mark person. If they even try to replace RBG, Ginsburg, we burn the entire fucking thing down. So here we go with the left losing their minds. There's thousands of posts out there. We're going to march on Washington. We're going to riot. We're going to burn this motherfucker down. All this other shit that the left is doing if Trump tries to push through this nomination. So I'm going to do this video because it seems as though most Americans no longer have a long-term memory, or they have a very selective long-term memory where they can't remember what happened just 4 years ago. So this goes back to when Justice Scalia died in February 2016, and then there was the fight in 2016, which happened to be a presidential election year. Now, obviously not as close as what we are dealing with now to the actual election, but regardless, it's still the election year. So I'm going to show you both sides of the aisle and what transpired in 2016, since most of you dumbasses, not you dumbasses, but collectively speaking, have chosen to forget, or just didn't know, or whatever. So I'm going to start with the before Ruth Ginsburg died, she had her granddaughter take dictation, and her basically what said that my most fervent wish is that I will not be replaced until a new president is installed. Okay, so whatever. It's she's on her deathbed and she's still playing politics, right? So let's hop in our time machine and go back to 2016 when Ruth Ginsburg was doing a interview with the New York Times, and this has also been stated when she was doing like a Q&A with some college students. So not the same times, two separate times, but she said this more than once. So here you go. This is in the New York Times article in July 2016, which happens to be a couple months after Scalia had passed, and there was a fight in the Senate with replacing him or not. And when Obama had already, Scalia died in 2016, in March of 2016 or February 2016, and Obama in March of 2016 nominated Garland to be his successor. So anyway, in regards to that whole thing going down, Ginsburg said that that's their job, meaning the Senate. There's nothing in the Constitution that says the president stops being president in his last year. So, in case you didn't know, the president is the one who makes a nomination for Supreme Court justices. They have to be approved and confirmed by the Senate. So, back in 2016, Scalia died in February. In March of 2016, Obama nominated Garland, and it started a big fight. So, in 2016, when apparently she wasn't on her deathbed, she's like, yes, the president is elected for 4 years, not 3. This being his 4th year, even though it's an election year, he should still push forward Garland, in this case, to replace Scalia, who had happened to pass in February. And the Senate should either go in and do their job and vote. So, but just 2 days ago, she's saying that the president shouldn't still be president in his 4th year, and that her successor should be nominated and pushed through after the election. Why the change, Ruth? I guess we'll never know. But, hey, welcome to politics in 2020, right? So, we're still in our time machine. We're still sitting back in 2016. So now let's look at the other side of the aisle with what was happening. So we have to go back to some dates and times on this. So here we go. Here's where Justice Scalia died, February 13th of 2016. And there's still a lot of speculation on his death. And for those of you who don't have long-term memory, an otherwise general healthy man died of a heart attack. 2 days later, his body was cremated. The heart attack happened at a friend's house. So I digress. Anyway, February of 2016, Scalia passes. Mind you, February 13th of 2016, Scalia passes, right? So now, here's an article from The Hill about Mitch McConnell on February 13th of 2016. McConnell is saying do not replace Scalia until after the election. Okay, so Justice Ginsburg, when Obama's president in his 4th year, or in court, this case, it technically had to be his 8th year, but his final year's presidency, she's all about replacing a justice that had passed, because the president's elected for 4 years, and even though we're in an election year, he should still do his job, and the Senate should do their job and vote. Okay, so in 2016, McConnell in the Senate said, no, we're not going to do it. So, okay. So now we have to fast forward a little bit to get up in our time machine and now move back up to the present. Remembering Ginsburg passed on the 18th of September, 2020, right? You guys, okay, we all with it? And in 2016, McConnell was saying no to Scalia's replacement go through the confirmation process. He said, we, the Senate, are not going to vote on it. And by the way, they end up not doing it. So a whole nother story. So now we're back to the present in 2020, and Ginsburg dies 2 days ago. So now McConnell vows to vote on Ginsburg replacement as her death upends the 2020 race. Okay, this is from the New York Times. I don't promote the New York Times, but I'm just happening to grab this article. That was published, on September the 18th of 2020, which happens to be the same day she died. So my video yesterday mainly focused on gaslighting, right? These are prime examples of how our media and our government is gaslighting us. This is strictly a left-right thing. Okay, somebody passing is somebody passing, and you can have your humanity feelings and humane feelings and all that stuff, and may they rest in peace and all that stuff that makes you comfortable, right? But what's going on in these particular cases, boiling it all down, this is strictly politics. It isn't about what is right or what is correct or what is the best thing to do for the country or our citizens. This is what's best for a party. I gave you examples of Ginsburg, who's obviously we all know is very left-leaning, saying that in one side of her mouth, when it benefited her party, that yes, we should nominate the replacement and go forward with the nomination and confirmation process. But on her deathbed, knowing that her replacement would be a detriment to her party. She's opposed to it. Now we go to the other side of the aisle. Back in 2016, when Scalia died and Garland was named by President Obama, McConnell said, hell no, we're not going to vote for this. We need to wait till after the election. Fast forward 4 years, and now McConnell's saying we have to go forward, with this nomination. Why? Because it's in the behest of his party. Now, there's an argument to be made that it was Obama's 8th year, his last year being president. It's the lame duck year as referred to, and all that connotation. So it's not exactly an apples to apples argument in this case. In this case, it's Trump being reelected, and if the left is successful in their cheating and whatever, all the plans, the street fight, that's their words, not mine, that's going to happen with this election, and lo and behold, Biden wins, well, they get to nominate what will be a left-leaning Supreme Court justice. So right now, you have Roberts, who's the swing vote, right? He's the Florida of the Supreme Court. Everybody says he's a conservative judge, but he doesn't vote that way. So basically, right now, with Ginsburg being gone, the Supreme Court is even. You can say what you want about Roberts. He's not a conservative, but I digress. If Trump pushes through one of his nominees, then it becomes a 5-4 and sometimes 6-4, give or take with how Roberts woke up that morning and how he feels. Supreme Court, conservative-based Supreme Court justice, or Supreme Court bench, excuse me. If they win and they wait and Trump doesn't get reelected and Biden let's just skip to the chase, and Harris becomes president, they're going to elect a radical left-leaning progressive nominee. Now, if the Senate maintains control, if the Republicans maintain control of the Senate after the election, okay, then there's a fight to be had. But that's what we're going to run into for the next 4 years if a left-leaning person makes it, or Harris becomes president. Not Biden. That's a joke. We know it. But anyway, that's what we're in for. So this is turning out to be the fight of this election. Aside from the mail-in fraud that's going to happen, aside from all the lawsuits that are going to be filed by the left, trying to fight the Trump victory, the only way I can see where there's not going to be a huge fight is if Trump just absolutely wins in a landslide. Meaning Trump, it isn't just you have to have 270 electoral votes to win, to become president. If Trump doesn't get at least 350 or more electoral votes, it's going to be a fight. And for those of you that, skipped civics class back in high school, if there's not a declared winner by January, then the presidential election vote goes to the House. Who's in control of the House? The House votes / picks the president. And that's the existing House, regardless of how the congressional races go, it's the current House that will vote on the presidency, who controls the House. So this is turning out to be really, really interesting and really, really sad all at the same time. I have no feelings for nor against Ginsburg. She was, didn't really care for her politics, but I'm not going to sit there and be that guy, oh, she's a human, rest in peace, based off of her politics. Same with Mitch McConnell. I think he's a piece of shit to begin with. I don't like McConnell, never have liked McConnell. He's another Lindsey Graham. He's another McCain. He's a lame duck Republican. You can call him a rhino. Now, he tends to vote with Republicans, but he's not a conservative by any stretch. McConnell's a snake. A lot of his nicknames, Cocaine Mitch, for a reason. So anyway, there you have it. You're being played. We're ball being played. I've just shown you both sides of similar situations that are, very, very similar, little details on and off. But here's one side talking out of both sides of their mouth, and here's the other side talking out of both sides of their mouth. That's our governance. That's who you and me elected to be our representatives and in the federal government. That's what we're dealing with. So anyway, just wanted to get this out there because of everything I see. Go look into it. Go to Twitter if you're on Twitter and just look at the just reprehensible talk coming from the left about burning this motherfucker down. They're not talking about just DC, by the way. They're talking about your town. They're talking about my town. There's going to be more riots, according to a couple of tweets I saw today. They're not. No, this isn't going to be just limited to DC. If they push this through, which there's been a couple of blurbs coming up in the press about the Republicans, or excuse me, the Senate's now talking about waiting. But what else can I say? My videos, I try to bring a perspective, a blue collar working man's perspective, and highlight some stuff that some people don't see or don't catch or not aware of, weren't trained, if you will, to notice the nuances in articles or video clips or whatever, and show you how you're being played. We don't have a representative government anymore. We have rulers. Here's your example. So on that, I'm going to say good night. So, good night, Gracie.